We are just days away from our lives having meaning again. Of course, I'm talking about the week 1 matchup. Lions, Packers. Packers right now, 2.5-point favorites. That line took a pretty big swing when that Micah Parsons trade came in. Regardless of that, I am so pumped up for this matchup. And on today's show, I'm going to tell you all the starters you need to expect that are going to take the field on Sunday against Detroit. Before that, you want the Packers to beat the Lions? Like the video, don't jinx it, okay? I've said this before. I'm a very, very superstitious guy. So if you're a little bit like me and you want the Green Bay Packers to walk away victorious week 1 against the Detroit Lions, you'll do me one big favor and hit that thumbs up button. We start with probably the most obvious one. That's quarterback Jordan Love. I get it. He had the thumb procedure just a couple of weeks ago. He's going to be ready to go. He's going to be ready to roll. And I feel like this truly is going to be the bounce back year for Love. I get it. Right? Last season, a lot of people want to say he took a step back. Now, I push back on that narrative because he struggled with injuries for pretty much the entirety of the year. And like when you look at the numbers still, 2024 was not anything crazy, especially for playing 2 less games. But he did throw less touchdowns, throw yet less yards, and had a worse completion percentage. Regardless of that, though, we're going to see a fully healthy Jordan Love. We're going to see a Jordan Love where his knee is all good. His groin is all good. His elbows, all good. And now he's got even more weapons than he had last year with the addition of course, Matthew Golden. We're going to play Vegas, alrighty? 1.5 touchdowns for Jordan Love against Detroit. Give me the over or the under in the comment section down below. 1.5 passing touchdowns for Love against the Lions. You let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Let's talk running back now. Possibly the heartbeat of this offense. Josh Jacobs, he's going to be your starting guy. The depth chart was released. The 2 guys backing him up are going to be Emmanuel Wilson and Chris Brooks in that order. This offense, it's obvious. We know that it runs through Josh Jacobs. I know that a lot of people think Matt LaFleur, and they think a guy who likes to throw it around the yard, likes to spread things out, likes to pass the ball 50 times a game. That's not the identity of this team. This team is run first, and that opens up the pass. And that's the great thing about Josh Jacobs is he does that better than anybody else, and we saw that last year. Now, I will say with Jacobs, pretty much every year in his career that he's done phenomenal, he's followed it up with an injury-ridden season or a step back. I'm hoping that that's not the case this year because he's going to have a great offensive line to run behind as well. The tight end position, the starter you're going to see is Mr. Tucker Kraft. Look, Tucker Kraft, I feel like, is the most slept-on tight end in the National Football League. How slept on is he, Joey? Great question. I was able to draft him in like round 13 of my fantasy draft on Tuesday. That's crazy to me because I feel like he's a top 10 tight end in the game. What he is able to do, the skill set that he has, not just as a pass-catching option, not just as a run-after-the-catch guy, but as a blocking tight end as well. Like, this guy is so special. And, oh, yeah, he also almost got 1,000 yards last season. Found pay dirt 7 times. Was targeted 70 times in the year. It's obvious that Jordan Love loves him as a target, and he should because he's a hell of a player. So, yeah, he's going to be your starting tight end. Luke Musgrave is going to back him up. I'm actually really excited to see what Luke Musgrave is going to bring in year 2 in this offense. The wide receivers go as follow. In my opinion, I think Matthew Golden's your wide receiver 1. I think Jayden Reed is your wide receiver 2. And I think Romeo Doubs is going to be your wide receiver 3. Now, we know how this team rolls. They're not going to come out and they're not going to tell anybody that, hey, Matthew Golden, Jayden Reed, or Romeo Doubs is this team's wide receiver 1. They know that for some reason they like to play that close to the vest. In my opinion, it's because they haven't necessarily really had a wide receiver 1 over the last 5 years or so since Davante Adams left. And now I feel like they've got it with Matthew Golden. And, of course, like we've discussed already this week, he changed the number. He's now rocking number 0, Agent 0, or as I'm going to call him throughout this entirety season. This group, though, does have a lot to prove. There's a lot that this group needs to improve upon in 2025. Now, Matthew Golden's not a part of that because he wasn't a part of that last season. But if you think about last season, and then if you dive into the detriment that this wide receiver room caused this offense, it's higher than anybody else in the league. Highest percentage of wide receivers causing incompletions, number 1, Green Bay Packers. Followed by a bunch of teams who you never want to be followed by. The Jets, no offense, Gage, the Colts, the Giants, and the Browns. You never want to be on a list with any of those other 4 teams. Okay, I can promise you that. The drop rate was egregious. Romeo Doubs, 9.7%. Dontayvion Wicks, 11.8%. Jayden Reed, 12%. 25 total drops from those 3 guys right there. And I'm not done. I still got more bad statistics, right? We could do this all day long. Most yards lost due to drops. Jordan Love, 282, tied for first with Baker Mayfield. Guys, this has to change. It must. And I believe it starts with the addition of Matthew Golden. Who do you think leads this trio in receiving? Golden, Doubs, Reed. Who do you think is this team's leading wide receiver yards-wise at the end of the year? You let me know in the comment section down below. Call your shot and let me know your answer. Underdog is the sponsor of today's video, and they are also the best place to make picks and win money all football season long. Football is here, and Underdog is the best place to have the most fun while watching all your favorite teams. Let's cut to the chase. If you download the app today and sign up with promo code Packers Report, you score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns and receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Get your picks right, and you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. You can play with as little as just $1. And we got the Thursday night kickoff, Eagles, Cowboys, and I know you probably hate both of those teams. To make it a little bit more interesting from us, how about you join me in this Underdog lineup? Higher CeeDee Lamb, 6.5 receptions. I feel like Dallas is going to air it out at the end of the game. They're going to be down. Higher than Saquon Barkley, 2.5 receptions. And then give me the higher on Dak Prescott, 36.5 pass attempts. Again, I think Cowboys are down late in the fourth quarter. I think they pass the ball as much as they can. Download the app today and sign up with promo code Packers Report. Score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code Packers Report. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog. Make picks, win money. Must be 18 or older, 19 or older in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 or older in Colorado for some games, 21 or older in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY to 467-369. Let's talk about the big boys up front now. Starting off at that left tackle position, we got Rasheed Walker. We go to left guard. Aaron Banks is right there at the center position. Making the move from left guard is Elston Jenkins. At right guard, it's not going to be Jordan Morgan. It's going to be Sean Ryan. And then at right tackle, you got the newest highly paid or highest paid signing bonus-wise right tackle in the history of the National Football League with Zach Tom. There's some notable things out of this starter group, and I know we talked about this when we talked depth chart on Wednesday, but Rasheed Walker is starting over Jordan Morgan. Now, I would not be shocked, I'll tell you this, to see that shift at some point during this season because Jordan Morgan had a phenomenal preseason. I just feel like they might need to see a little bit more out of him to feel 100% good about him being the starting left tackle. And if you don't see a shift, then I promise you'll see one next year, and he'll be this team's starting left tackle. Overall, though, like when you look at this offensive line, and if you take it at face value, I feel really, really good about this group. Like, I feel good about this group's ability to compete on an every down basis. I like what they're able to do in the run defense or run offense. I like the pass protection they're able to give Jordan Love. And I feel really, really great about these guys and their ability to, I don't want to say shoulder the load, but be the leaders of this offense. Let's go to the defensive side of the ball now. Week 1 starters on that line: Rashawn Gary, Devontae Wyatt, Colby Wooden, and Micah Parsons. It's still crazy to see that guy as your starting defensive end. Look, I'll be honest with you. I think this is the best pass rush duo in the league. And I believe that because, there are so many things about Rashawn Gary's game that's different than Micah Parsons. And Micah Parsons is pretty much anything you can want it to be. And I get the hate, right? Not the hate. I get the sentiment from you guys. A lot of you say, guys, this rush defense without Kenny Clark is going to be horrible. But in 2023, when Kenny Clark was a Pro Bowler, the rush defense was the 28th best in the National Football League at 128.3 yards a game. So Kenny Clark leaving is not going to do anything crazy for your run defense. Now, I'm curious how much they do shift LVN inside. If you remember the very beginning of training camp, Matt LaFleur talked about moving Lucas Van Ness to the inside on the defensive line. Now, he was the starting edge rusher before the Micah Parsons trade came in, but now that he is here, I am really, really excited to see if they feel like they want to give him some run on the inside of that defensive line. How many sacks do you think Gary and Parsons combined for this year? Take a guess for me in the comment section down below. I think it's going to be a lot. I'm really, really excited to see what these guys are able to do. I would not be surprised one bit if it is a double-digit sack year for both of those guys. But as we stand right now, obviously we don't know, so that's why I need you guys to take a guess for me in the comment section down below. All right, now we're going to talk about linebackers. Your Week 1 starters: Quay Walker, Edgerrin Cooper, and Isaiah McDuffie. Edgerrin Cooper, guys, everybody's going to be talking about him by the end of the year. I can almost promise you that. This is going to be his breakout season. This is going to be the year where he gets everybody's attention. And it already started at the end of last year. Everybody kind of started turning their head and saying, wow, Edgerrin Cooper can play. Also, in my opinion, be on the lookout for Tyron Hopper. This was one of my surprising takeaways about the depth chart on Wednesday, but I would not be surprised to see by the end of the year Tyron Hopper starting over Isaiah McDuffie. I think McDuffie gets the nod just because he's played in this league a lot longer and because they signed him an extension during free agency. But everything I saw from Tyron Hopper during this preseason and training camp has led me to believe he's going to be a star, an absolute star one day at the linebacker position. We're going to wrap up with the secondary: Keyshawn Nixon, Nate Hobbs, Xavier McKinney, and Evan Williams. Those are your 4 starters. At the current recording of today's video, we don't know for sure if Nate Hobbs is going to be able to go and ready to go Week 1. Alrighty? If he's not, I feel like Valentine's going to slide in there and be the cornerback one. But as of right now, this is how it reads: Nixon, Hobbs, McKinney, and Williams. I feel good about that group in the safety room, not as much in the cornerback room. That's going to do it for today's show. Make sure you got me on Twitter and on Instagram at Joey Peterson on both those platforms. And if you're not subscribed, what are you doing? Let's change that today.